Where were they when the injustice was happening in Palestine? Where were they when people were being murdered in the streets of Palestine? When the bombs were falling from the skies? Oh brothers, oh people, know that you were in the right place. You were stood for the right side. Because as we know, history tells us, it wasn't the politicians that stood when South Africa was practicing apartheid. When injustices happen, it's fixed at the grassroots like this. When people like I and you come out, that's when change happens. Our beloved, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what did he teach us? What advice did he give us? He tells us 1400 years ago, he says, whoever from amongst you sees any evil in the world. He didn't address this just to the Muslims. He didn't address this just to the people of his time. Muslim, non-Muslim, people of that time, people of this time, people of the future. Whoever from amongst you sees anything evil, let them change it. If you can change it with your hands, then change it with your hands. If you can't change it with your hands, then raise your voice against the evil. That's why we stand like this. We come out to protest. We come out to show our support to the Palestinians. We know that our government has sold their souls. We know that the Keir Starmers are justifying war crimes. We know that the Rishi Sunaks are standing with Israel murdering babies in hospitals. But we do not stand for that reason. When we stand for justice in the eyes of Allah. We stand before Allah knowing that Allah has commanded us to stand for justice. The crimes that happen in Palestine, they haven't just started a week ago. They haven't just started a month ago. For decades, 70, 75 years, children are being buried in the lands of Palestine. If you have a child, if you have a baby, know that there's a Palestinian mother who has lost a baby just like yours. If you have an elderly parent, know that there are elderly parents in Palestine where families had to leave them in Aqsa in Gaza. They had to choose to leave them there whilst the bombs rain from the skies. We stand for justice. We decry terrorism wherever it is, whether that falls from an Israeli fighter plane or whether that's fired from an Israeli rifle. Terrorism is terrorism. When babies are being killed in Gaza, when the hospital life machines are being turned off, remember our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam commanded us, silence is not an option. At times like this, silence is not an option. You come out onto the streets and you raise your voice. The government might not change their views because of this. But if the Palestinians see that in Oldham, in Manchester, in London, all around the world, people believe in justice, and there are people who stand shoulder to shoulder with the Palestinians, know that this will give them hope. This will give them hope. Don't feel that protests do nothing. Raise your voices. Write to your MPs. When we elect them into office, ask them to speak out. The brother mentioned that Oldham is a Labour stronghold. Our Labour MPs should be questioning Keir Starmer. Oh, Keir Starmer, you are a human rights barrister. You say that you are upholding the law. Oh, Keir Starmer, how did you justify the murder of Palestinian babies? How did you justify turning off the water to our brothers and sisters in Palestine? This is the duty of I and you, that when at the grassroots we put pressure on the governments, that's when times will change. And we finish on these words. We see it written on the walls of Aqsa, لَن نَرْكَعْ أُمَّةٌ قَائِدُهَا مُحَمَّدُ, that a nation that is led by the likes of our Prophet, that will never bow to injustice. Free, 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 from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. Palestine.